Turn it up. Look, 100 years after 100 years, they done lied to us about this and that. Told us all we from Africa. I made fiction characters turn into facts. Heard you tell me then it was not. Knowing goddamn well that trick was capped. My wife and I wrote a book about it. It's a book with knowledge, evidence, and fact. And my other book got them haters shook, cause it's helping mind people take a closer look at their backgrounds in the background, showing my people where they supposed to look. Showing my people where they get it from, where they hit it from, all sorts of angles. When it comes to this research, you must please first, don't trust strangers. Find out all on your own is what I highly recommend and suggest. And if you looking for answers and content about me, I highly recommend you the best. Which is my website at the link you see just across the screen. Don't let it miss you. I make it simple. I double down on that black and white. It's too official.
OCO, freethinkers. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet.
This brother, he is raising some serious questions.
He's here to make you think.
What I'm trying to do is get our people to understand that we have been lied to all the way around about our history. Can you name any other group of people, no matter their skin complexion, that are being labeled primarily as the name of two continents? Not two countries, two continents. That is called a misnomer, which is the act of applying a wrong name to some person or thing.
The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes.
I want y'all to check out somebody named Dane Calloway.
Dane Calloway?
Look into Dane Calloway. He has a lot of information about how this whole shit was told in reverse. Okay, where they say, oh, we came from Africa over here. No, a lot of us was already here.
And information that was put together by a man by the name of Dane Calloway, who is also questioning the slave trade. And he's done some remarkable videos on the history of the slave trade in the United States. And he's gone back down the food chain and gone back down the line, and he's realized that a lot of the so-called African Americans in the United States are not African at all. They're actually Native Americans, because the slave trade did not happen the way we were told that it happened.
It's Dane Calloway.
Dane Calloway. Go and watch this man's channel, man. This dude is phenomenal, and he don't get the accolade and his flowers right now. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude gives some powerful information, some common sense. Go dig deep and research. Maybe even have to spend a couple dollars on research if you truth seeking. Not fact checking, truth seeking. Because there's a difference.
It's Dane Calloway on I'm Just Here to Make You Think Radio.
Voodoo, I don't. Okay, here's what I don't believe. I don't believe that somebody could cook up some water and throw a leaf in there, a piece of garlic, and a piece of somebody's hair and cast a spell on somebody like that.
I mean, I'm not going to say that's the way to do it. No, but yeah, I mean, as far as witchcraft is concerned, that is true. That is real. I know that firsthand because I know a lot of people that can do it.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about, I already know for sure. I like confirmed. It's a lot of people that can cast spells. It depends on how far you want to go. They're actually casting spells like through music, through movies, through television, through radio. They're casting spells that way also. It depends on, how far you want to take it. But yeah, this has been going on for years. Magic is a spell. Like when you spell words, that's a spell also. Depending on what words you speak, you could be spelling that way as well. There's a few ways you could take this. But yeah, witchcraft is definitely real.
Okay, so witchcraft, voodoo, and roots is all the same, correct?
Not necessarily, because voodoo is something totally different. Voodoo is like when they're, like, for example, they're taking a puppet of you. Like if they spoke a spell onto this doll puppet of you, and anytime they puncture that doll puppet with a nail, it'll hurt you in real life. But that's based off of how strong that person is in witchcrafting. This goes all the way back. This is indigenous to us. This goes back to the medicine man and the medicine woman of a tribe. They do witchcraft. Their medicine was the witchcraft.
I heard of that, and I've heard of that. But okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the medicine was the witchcraft. They will cast spells over your body to take evil spirits away from you. That's why they said you can use magic for good and bad. You can. That's true.
Okay.
But in most cases, when you hear the word voodoo, that's automatically going to be negative because of the direction it's going. It's another direction of witchcraft.
I do know that our ancestors practiced, the medicine, but that was to heal people. It wasn't to harm us.
That's not true. It depends because that could be used both ways. Any form of magic could be used for good and bad. It depends on your intent, on what you're doing it for. It depends on your intention. It could be used for both.
Okay, like I was telling everybody earlier, my grandmother had a best friend, and they would go to the place called the Highlight. This was out before the casinos. Mm-hmm. And her girlfriend would go to a root lady in the hood. Mm-hmm. And the root lady would give her like some oil to rub on her so she could hit numbers.
Now, but it depends. She might have spoke over that oil. I don't know. It depends on what she did to the oil. It doesn't necessarily have to be the oil that she bought. It's about the spirituality of the individual that casted the spell. Like you can remember, I think I did this before on your show. I told people that you could actually make a plant grow. Like I have a bamboo plant sitting right next to me on my other table. Of course, I feed it water, but in order for it to grow and grow fast, I speak life to it. When I speak life to it, I am casting a spell, but it's a good spell. It's a good cast. It's a good affirmation in order for it to continue to grow and grow a healthy life. Like you can speak to water. That is true, to bring back up what you spoke of earlier. You can speak to water and make the water do certain things for you. In other words, you could state an affirmation out loud. I'm just giving you an example, and you could take a sip of water. Our ancestors did it that way, and they also spoke something out loud, an affirmation, and they puffed the pipes, the smoking pipes, in ceremonial ways. I'm gonna say it that way. It depends on what tribe you're talking about, but yeah, they use the smoking pipes for ceremonial purposes, for speaking affirmations about themselves and their family members. And then they'll, puff the pipe a couple times, pass it around everybody. It depends on the situation. Everybody's different. But it's multiple different ways where you could do that. But yeah, I'm not gonna say all voodoo witchcraft is bad. I'm not gonna say all voodoo. I guess I don't have to say all voodoo is bad, but usually it is. Usually voodoo is bad, but you can use witchcraft for good and bad, and it's real.
This is what freaks me out. The church, the Christians went around in our community and told them not stop them from, or convinced them and persuaded them from practicing their old ways, but then turn around and get them in the church, and they got damn rituals. They put the oil.
They work at magic too. They're doing the same thing. Well, it's similar, but yeah, that is a form of magic. Any cult, usually.
But they take the oil like Geechee Girl said. I remember that as a kid, the pastor, they always prayed over the oil, and they put it around.
See, when they say
on your
pray,
forehead.
they talking over it. When they pray, they talk over it. They're stating affirmations. A form of prayer is a form of affirmation.
Okay, so it's good and it's bad. Because,
yes.
All right, in the church, they pray so that evil spirits are removed from you. And out in the street, they put spells on you so evil spirits come in you. It's like bugged out. That's why I'm saying, is it like...
You got to have some form of... I'm not going to get all personal about what I do, but you do have to invest in yourself spiritually in order to understand what you have to do to protect yourself against those that are out there that will speak or that will do anything with a negative intent. You know, I mean, you just got to be mindful of that. There are people out there that will use a form of witchcraft against you. So you have to be prepared for that. Me and you talked about this before because I was forewarning you that there are some people out there that could go as far as that. So you have to be mindful of that. They could try to cast a spell that will do something to harm you. And you got to be mindful of that. And it's real because it can happen. You just won't know it until it happens. But I wouldn't want you to go through it. I would want you to be prepared for it. That's why I was speaking to you offline personally on that note. That is a real thing. Like I had to be prepared for that once I got into the way I am right now, because there's so many people. Number one, you can't trust nobody. Number two, you can't take their word for it. You got to be prepared for stuff like that. You cannot sit up there and allow them the opportunity to do something to you. Seriously. Because they can make you sick. They can make you, it's a bunch of stuff that they could do to you to stop you from doing whatever you're doing that they're jealous of. And that's real. I'm not joking.
Okay, so that explains why, because it was never explained to me as the little girl from my father. Now, he's from Tampa, Florida, and they're heavily into roots down there. And same for South Carolina. He would raise me to combat people who did roots and shit. And so when I was younger, I said, well, Dad, isn't it if you believe it, that it's true?
No,
or it works. So whether you believe it or not, it'll work on you.
Yes, it's not based on perception. That's reality.
Oh,
that's reality. Yeah. That's just like you saying, well, I mean, hey, is this car going to work without gas if I wanted to drive? You see what I'm saying? Like it's because it's no way that a car is going to work without gas or some form of energy. So in this sense, in a spiritual sense, with anything that you give your energy to, it gets amplified. But in this sense, that doesn't mean that the entity of where it's coming from, wherever the attack is coming from, is not real. You can't look at it and turn your nose up and say, okay, that's not real, and that stops it. No, that's not how it works. It's not that easy. You literally have to be prepared for something like that. Basically, you have to have already in motion a big block or wall of defense against those type of attacks. Otherwise, it's going to be too late.
Which I believe I had. Because I don't know. I just have a hard time with it. I usually see it as a backfire, an evil. I never, maybe I'm saying the same thing as you, but
see, they say, see no evil, hear no evil, whatever that saying is.
Mm-hmm. You said
that's
it right.
Wrong. That's wrong. That saying is wrong. Evil's there regardless evil is there regardless if you want to acknowledge it or not. Everything that they ever told to you was told to you in reverse. They want you to do the total opposite because it works against you. Just like they say the sky is the limit. No, it's not. Why would you limit yourself to a sky?
Correct.
When you know you could go higher.
Correct.
Okay. Anything that they told you I'm telling you, you have to look at it in a reverse manner. I just want you to understand that it is people out there, okay, that will do those types of things and are very successful doing it. But they're not going to be successful with you and I, because what we're going to do is protect ourselves, okay? We're going to protect us. Seriously, I have to smile about it because I have to brush off that negativity, because technically that's negativity. Negativity welcomes negativity. But I brush it off with smiles or laughter. That is the highest form of energy, okay? So it won't work. That combats the attack. Laughter. It's a few things that you have to learn in order to be, to utilize it properly. People just look past it because they think nothing of it, but that's the reason why they're in the situation that they're in. When you don't look at the bigger picture, then yeah, you'll fall deeper into the hole without you realizing how far down you're going. You think it's normal. A lot of people would do that. That's not even I at one point. It's the same thing. That happens a lot with a lot of people. Becoming one with yourself is universal law. Mastering yourself, your inner self, is universal law. It doesn't matter what area you pick. That's what everybody struggle. That's what their struggle is.
Yeah.
Identifying their self for who they are and becoming one with it. That's the biggest struggle of humanity, period.
I believe it. I believe that to the core of my being. I found out you can't find yourself in no church.
Not at all. You can't find yourself in a stranger because you're not a stranger to yourself unless you learn yourself and master yourself. I remember I said this years ago, you have to have so much confidence in yourself that you will actually believe in yourself. Not nobody else, yourself. You can't be a stranger to yourself. Welcome yourself in with open arms at all times. You came into this world by yourself. How you think you're gonna leave?
By yourself.
The same way. It's that deep. See, I'm a spiritual person, okay? Very spiritual, and so is my wife.
I do believe in spirituality.
Oh, yeah. It's not about belief, it's about what you know. And that's the reason why I said you gotta know these things so you can know where to use it. That's a part of your spirituality, a part of you. It's not some form or group or some religious group. It's you. Spirituality has everything to do with you. Period. Not nobody else. You, the individual.
Right.
The more you master yourself, the better you will be in life.
And the more powerful you are. I get that.
I'm telling you, hands down.
I agree.
I'm a living witness. I changed my life as soon as I became one with myself. I changed my life.
It took me a very long time to learn my inner self. A very long time.
Everybody wakes up at different times. I just continue to be their alarm clock.
I wish I knew myself more when I was younger. Totally different.
Totally different
for me now.
Don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on that. And don't beat yourself up. There's nothing wrong with changing right now. You alive and well right now. You don't gotta beat yourself up. It's not, because I used to do that too, and you know I do. I still beat myself up over work I'm holding. I'm like, nah, I don't want to put that out until I do the same thing. See? So I'm showing you that I'm doing the same thing, but it's different when it comes to understanding me. I know which traits, I know what areas I need to work on still. I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's your higher self that you have to work with to understand what's going on with you inside of this world. Like, what is your mission? What were you put here to do? What were you put here to do? And the only way to answer that question is for you to understand yourself. I'm serious.
When I was younger, I knew that. When I was younger, just what you said, I remember them words from my grandmother. You have to find out what you were put here to do. I can't tell you. She would always tell me that. I can't tell you what you were here to do. You have to find it out yourself. And I would get so upset. And she said, I'm not trying to upset you. I just don't want you doing what I think you should do. I want you to do what you're supposed to do. And that always confused me as a young woman.
Whatever you believe, forget about it. It's not about what you believe. Forget what you believe. It's about what you know. So what you know so far. And if you don't know everything, that's fine. It's about knowing it though. So that means you gotta go find it. That means you got some work to do.
Facts.
You got some things to work on. That's I'm just speaking in general.
I can agree with that. That's true. That's real talk right there.
But it took a while for me, and it take a while for everybody. So that's not a knock to nobody. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm just telling you how it is. You literally have to become one with yourself in order to see your higher self. You have to become one with yourself. You have to accept yourself for who you are. And then how you want to make yourself out to be is how you make yourself out to be. It's not based on perception. It's based on what you make your reality. You'll find all this stuff out by looking into yourself. This ain't about Googling nothing. It ain't about that. Notice I ain't say go look up this book. Go look up this author. I'm not doing that. Whatever comes to you will come to you. Whatever your walk is to find yourself, that's gonna happen. But now you gotta demand it instead of request it. You have to demand it now. This is what you want for yourself. You want to become one with yourself. Forget everything else now. You want to become one with yourself. Make that your top priority. Make that a demand. Speak it out loud. Speak it into your reality. Man, it's gonna follow suit. A lot of people come to my channel and subscribe. If you read the comments, they tell you that they were on a spiritual journey and ended up finding my channel. They get brought over by the spiritual realm and what their spirit is connecting to at that time. Okay? And of course, a lot of people will elevate even higher. They're just not stopping at my channel. But I mean, it's not about going to the next channel neither. It's about what they're doing with themselves to gather the information and understanding so they can have a complete picture of where they're coming from within themselves though, and what needs to be adjusted. You can't become perfect. You could try. Don't believe in nobody else but yourself.
As a kid, I just didn't believe that you could cast a spell on somebody using specific things. Now, granted, the things that these witch doctors, may I say, in the hood, or we call them root people.
I noticed you said that.
Yeah, we called them because that's what they were called, the root lady. The root lady in our hood in Connecticut. She did use natural things like garlic and water, all natural stuff to make and some kind of oil, and she would pass it out. Now you're telling me, I thought the witch doctor casted the spell over the oil she made and sold to people, but you're saying that the person who purchased it have to cast the spell over the oil for it to work.
Not necessarily, and no, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying was, in general, is that you have to speak something over something in order for it to do something, in order for it to see action. I'm just speaking in general. But in that sense, with that lady or man, that person already did the work.
Oh, so you just using it. Yeah. Okay, got you. All right, yeah, I was confused.
But you do have to speak over that's why I said you can't just pick up a onion, for example, and throw it on somebody and be like, you're gonna die now. Like, I mean, I'm just simplifying it, but that's not how it works.
Okay.
And it's way deeper than that.
Oh, and her just freaked me out about the Hollywood thing, about these rituals. That shit is freaking me out.
And that's real. They doing it too. They practicing magic also.
Oh my God, and it just tears me up. Like, you gotta sacrifice somebody like your mom or your loved one. That shit is freaking me out right now.
It depends on where they're, like, which ideology they're subscribing to. Like, Skull and Bones sound like that one. You gotta sacrifice, like Muhammadan made you sacrifice. We not gonna get into all of that, but yeah, it's different practices, but that has nothing to do with the spirituality, what I'm talking about. But like I said, people can use magic for both good and bad. But yeah, so they'll have their own agenda. And certain people that want you to sacrifice this in order to get that. Same thing with religion. Christianity wants you to sacrifice for things too.
Yes.
It's not just Muhammadan. It's not just it's a lot of religious beliefs, practices or traditions that will, follow up under the sacrifice situation. Some of them say sacrifice animals. Some of them will sacrifice children. It get deep.
It do.
But with spirituality, you ain't sacrificing nothing. When you becoming one with yourself, you becoming one with yourself. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. So you don't got to sacrifice nothing. Maybe you sacrifice time spending with other people that's going to waste your time. Maybe that. But that's for your benefit. Anything that you're doing for yourself is going to be for your benefit, to your benefit. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that traditional belief crap. They can keep that. You don't even need it.
Yeah.
All it's doing is persuading your mindset into believing what they want you to believe.
Yes, exactly. Doctrine.
Your ancestors will guide you into what steps what you want or should take to become one with yourself. Everybody's is different. It's not the same.
Right. Everybody's experience is different. Everybody,
Not one person lived the same life as another one.
Facts. But yeah, I was just I was struggling with the witchcraft and the voodoo thing because there's so many different perspectives of it to the point where I said, okay, I'm just done.
The reason why is because everybody's is different, Sister Betty. That's the reason why I said basically don't ask, demand, whoever it is that you speak to when you pray. Now I want you to look at that and say, okay, you're looking at least your ancestors. The reason why I say your ancestors is because you can verify that those spiritual beings are with you still. Mm-hmm. Okay? That means that's something personal. So demand something. Demand something. I demand to become a better me. You'll say that out loud every day. That's going to become your reality, because based off of what you dictate becomes your reality. But it starts there. Once you ask yourself those questions. That's why I say question everything. Start questioning things. You're going to get your answer. Make sure it's the right question. It might not be the right answer, but make sure it's the right question. You got to do that. You always got to ask the right questions. That's the key. And then you'll be able to you creating your own script in a way. You writing your own book anyway. I mean, you are creating your own history daily. It's up to you. What you want for real. And demand it. Write it down if you want to so you won't forget it. Because look, when you look at it on paper, it's even better. You're able to repeat it in your mindset because your eyes looking at it. So you repeat it to yourself 5 to 10 times a day. Hey, that's going to end up becoming your reality. Once you become one with yourself and actually believe in yourself and know that that's going to happen, you got to have that type of confidence though. So you know you got to be realistic. You can't state things that you, like for example, you're going to be a millionaire overnight. That's not realistic. You got to be real with yourself. And whatever make you feel good, you put that energy towards it, it's going to become your reality. I just gave you a key. I'm telling you, it worked for me and it worked for everybody else that I told to do it. No ifs, ands, or buts about 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 it.
I'm just here to make you think.